And the next speaker will be Robin James, our global fisherman. You're talking about globally management of transports of fish access, whatever.
Whatever.
So, go ahead and...
Can you get that off? Good afternoon, everybody. What I'm going to talk about is managing animal husbandry on a global basis. Now, it's good to have a lot of facilities around the world, but it's also fairly scary in terms of animal husbandry. On the other hand, it's very exciting. For me, it's essential to have consistency and standards and to drive forward best practices through a large available knowledge base. Oh, I think I must have pressed something already. Sorry. Anyway, these are communication tools that we have, and some of you use them and some of you may not. Again, a lot of these tools work well, but actually, for me, emails are the worst ones. So what are the challenges? Well, I'm going to put quite a few up here because we have to think this through. So we've got the availability to visit all the sites, to go and visit and look at all the animals. Well, actually, that's very difficult and extremely expensive. Husbandry consistency, very important. Competencies, understanding the levels. Training skill sets, historical experiences. We need to understand what people have. Ethical viewpoints. Well, that, and certainly around the globe, changes enormously, and a lot of you will know that. And it's very diverse. Cultural differences, social behavior, and how this impacts on working relationships. Very vital. Laws and regulations, well, you can't do a lot about those. Language barriers, these are obvious ones. Time zones, single site mentality. If a site has been sort of isolated, how to integrate those sites back into a bigger group. Compliance and policies, which is what we have to put in. Veterinary cover, again, very important. Drug accessibility, the quality of drugs. And certainly that could be quite a challenge in China, particularly because of not understanding what's in these drugs or how to use them. That's one of the biggest problems, but they learn it, they learn and we learn from them, so it's very good. When I first started at Sea Life, there were only 3 aquariums to cover. This then grew within Europe, and basically the challenges are equal to these on the slide. Apart from the crazy time zones and the diverse cultures. You might say, well, just adapt and employ more staff to deal with the growth. However, this is not how it works in practice, and certainly not in my opinion. We have to consider, for example, transition time if a site has been acquired, time to understand competency levels, as I said before, in the animal care teams, how the site operates, build trust and open communication, and of course, veterinary cover. For some reason, these are moving by themselves, these slides. Anyway, what cultured, so I'm going to go back. What structure do we need in place? On the previous slides, I'm talking about communication, but what about, how do we structure this? Central Animal Care Department, which is DDD in the UK. And then what we do, we put personnel into each region. For instance, for Europe and Asia, Australia, New Zealand, the USA, who work closely with the businesses. Then we look at employing veterinarians regionally and locally. Animal health inquiry process, we have this centrally and within the region, so we understand what's happening. And an internet-based website that Rob Wick here has put together so that people have access, no matter what time zone you're on. And this is a great tool. So what I've discussed on the previous slides here is is about the communication tools. Now, what about the animals in our care in 49 sites? How should we develop and ensure the best animal care within our aquariums? Having recognized the key issues, what are the priorities long and short term? Here are what I feel are the key points. And many of you will think, well, that's obvious. But do we really develop these on a day-to-day basis? Do we think about these on a day-to-day basis? Are we really busy? We do have to think about them. Just let's summarize the categories a little bit more, detailing starting with the staff. As we all know, the better the staff competency, the less issues you will have with your exhibition and animals. So we need to have regular assessments, we need to discuss weaknesses and strengths, ensuring training needs are met. We have to ensure a number of internal courses that meet the general needs and also external courses where the need is greatest. How to deliver the courses? Well, we need to look at local delivery and regional specialists. Animal-related courses that have been developed for the group, which are then adapted for each region. So we can develop courses ourselves that then can get adapted to the regions. Certainly online courses are included, including the one we're developing. And we're trying to do online courses as well, because the internet is a great tool. So what are the tools for the animals? Ensuring all aquariums have core animal operating guidelines, contacts within existing estates to help and advise, a full understanding of company animal ethical policies, sea life internet sites for access I've mentioned before, particularly policies, veterinarian cover, visitations from these vets and reports. And similar, with the adding ongoing development of husbandry practices. Here, of course, is a great opportunity with multi-sites and the enormous wealth that they have. The recruitment is tough, though. So we're looking at recruitment as well. To getting the right person, either through qualifications or through being able to ascertain persons who will have the required passion. And the other issue is that HR operates so differently across the world, as you can imagine. Animal acquisition, collection plans. Just to take one of these examples, supplier choice, so vital and so inherently difficult to ascertain how and where the animals come from. Collection transport methods that are used and the fallout along the way. Having sites and local knowledge, having sites in various parts of the world can help enormously, not only with the benefits of local knowledge, but also the knowledge can be shared and have specific objectives to influence long-term change with those suppliers that will struggle in terms of legal and ethical practices. But what we do have is an enormous amount of data. So this is really exciting. And we need the challenge is ensuring we are able to analyze that data. This then follows on the collation of all the results, helping to ascertain any trends and develop better methods of treatments. Having a central database for animal health forms and standardizing pathology procedures is part of what we can achieve all together. And I've got a couple of examples for you here. And I've got to say these words as well, so it could take a while. Through discussions between pathology labs in the UK and the US, we're able to focus on the research of this urinema type parasite that can affect the number of internal organs in shark species that we held. So this is scuticociliatosis. This is now helping us to look what the causes are in these outbreaks and take appropriate action in terms of husbandry and medical intervention. Another one, we pulled together reports on, through the seahorses ones. The findings demonstrated that 1/3 of the cases are undiagnosed. In the remainder, the most significant contributor to mortalities is Scuticociliatosis, mycobacteriosis, systemic non-mycobacterial bacterial infections, and bacterial gill disease. It suggests a downward trend in proportion to deaths attributed to Scuticociliatosis and non-TB bacterial and anemic gill infections. But a rising trend in sporadic cases of pigmental fungal infections have occurred in previous years in this group. So the current spike is not unprecedented. So we're looking at where we're going and what's happened in the past. What are we getting better at? What we're not getting better at? What is coming up new? And hope we can manage that. So the data is so important. I said previously, you've got regional curators, so they look after certain zones. So these regional curators are able to understand in both terms of animal staff, exhibition development, including the need to understand local legislation. This is our first point of contact, and conference calls via Skype or other cost-effective methods can take place on a weekly or fortnightly basis. If there are any issues, these curators can support the sites in resolving the problems. Again, key is development of individuals and assessing staff as specialists. This will ensure the best animal care practices and additionally have individuals who become specialists in certain species or species groups, leading to the involvement in the creation of manuals, procedures, protocols, and supporting sites on a day-to-day basis. And of course, the importance of having local and regional vets. Key point of contact in the same time zone, ensuring standards and policies, and this is, I'm talking about the veterinary side here, on procedures at every site. Developing skill sets directly at sites, so they can go into sites and actually show how to do certain procedures. Having the ability to improve fish health through communication, and between all the regional vets. So what we're trying to do now is to get the global regional vets together, talking to each other, and through the local ones. And I know this, but I don't hope there's no vets here, but certainly, and don't take offense, but certainly a lot of vets are reactive. They react to what you have as issues or problems. What we need is to be more proactive and see how they make changes. And actually talking a lot more about where we're going. And they do, of course, part of this process is having official vet visits, including reports, either biannually or up to 6 times a year, that depending on the zoo license requirements. So to summarize, and it's very difficult to summarize this, but what is important? To ensure all support documents and standardizations are accessible to all staff. Focus on recruitment, have regional curators in these regions. Again, with the veterinarians, we need to have them working in these regions. Having solid training and developing staff, and the ability to collect data and use it. It doesn't always work, it's hard going, but we are learning and hopefully we're improving. From my point of view, it's fascinating, particularly from the cultural diversity element. And that's my personal view on that. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Robin. Other questions? Questions? No questions?